What is it like being Jamaican in the United Emirates? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com, and today in Jamaicans to the World, we're speaking to LaToya and Nicky, who are in the United Emirates. Wait, let me back up. I don't know if I had it right. Did I say it right?
Missing a
You left
word.
out one keyword. Starts with
Okay.
an A.
Hey, Arab.
United. Very good.
You
Point.
see, ladies, all we think about is Dubai. That's all we think about. And that is what happens.
Yeah.
So, ladies, welcome. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful. Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes. And it's Thursday, so it's the weekend, so even better.
Yep.
So, my first question to each of you, and I'm going to start with you, Latoya, is which part of Jamaica you come from?
I am from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Salem.
Okay.
Yes.
And the second part to it is what school? Because you know we're passionate about the schools.
Well, you have like the Malta Alvernia people,
Okay.
and then I went to Florida, so
Okay. All right. All right. So repping Mount Alvernia. So Nikki, which part of Jamaica you come from?
I am from Kingston, the capital. Kingston, Jamaica. Born and bred, and school went to St. Hugh's High, and then I went to UE after that.
Oh, my wife would love to hear that. She's a St. Hughes Height
Hey,
and
cool.
and
Editas.
big time into it. Big time into it. So I'm gonna ask Latoya, how did you end up in the United Arab Emirates?
actually I was supposed to go to Japan, and a friend told me about like here and tax free and all this other stuff, and I flipped a card and told myself I really wanted to skydive over the palms. That's how I ended up here.
I love it.
Daredevil.
I love it, Latoya. I love it.
You, Nikki?
Well, let me kind of give you like a abridged version. So, living in Jamaica, had no plans on leaving Jamaica, and one of my things was me not following no man go nowhere, and then I did exactly the opposite of that. So, my husband he took a job here with Emirates as a pilot. After the whole Air Jamaica thing, and so that's how I ended up here. Following back a man, and it's worked out really well though. It's worked out really, really well.
So Nikki, you're in Dubai, and Latoya, you're in Abu
Abu
uh,
Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Which is the
So,
capital of the United Arab Emirates.
okay. So I think we should say, because everybody just thinks of Dubai, but the capital is there. So it's almost like, and I'm using the Jamaican analogy, it's almost like Kingston and Montego Bay. The tourists them know Montego Bay, and everybody else kind of know commerce and everything take place at Kingston.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yes, 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 something like that.
So
So
there are 7 emirates here. So like you would have our parishes, there's 7 of them here. So but everyone, again, Dubai, Dubai, Dubai. Even when I say where I'm from, oh Dubai. So after a while you just say, okay.
So a question here. How are Jamaicans viewed there? How are Jamaicans viewed? Is it like when I see you're Jamaican, all of a sudden you get some places the VIP come out. You're Jamaican. How are Jamaican viewed? I'm gonna start with you, Nikki.
I would say very favorably. Everybody loves Jamaica. They recognize the flag. Of course, Bob Marley, Usain Bolt. They love the accent. And so, when you are anywhere, we're very few. in this country. I mean, I would say about 75% of the population is expat. So you have over 200 nationalities that live here. So Jamaicans make up a very, very small percentage of that population. So most of the time you go anywhere, you're literally the only Jamaican that's going to be in the room. And you're somewhat of a novelty. It's like, wow, Jamaica, wow, and, loads of questions come on the back of that. Really, people are intrigued by Jamaica, very intrigued by Jamaica.
LaToya, your view on this, because again, you're in the city, you're in the where everything happens, the commerce.
We have a little bit more because in my profession also there's a bunch of teachers here that are Jamaican, and then the pilots and everybody else. So I see more of them. My first experience with a local here, he looked at my hair and he's like, Bob Marley. I want like Bob Marley. And I'm like, okay. And he said, friend told me don't wash 2 years like Bob Marley. And I'm like, no, 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 no. So our conversation proceeded to talk about how dreads and stuff really come about and that you must wash your hair.
Thank you very much. Educate them. It's a whole education, because I don't know if this happened to you, to LaToya. A lot of times, you talk to people like, oh, where are you from? They can't really pick up the accent because, like, Caribbean people are not like a popular subculture group over here. Mainly, you have lots of Indians, you have lots of British people, Pakistani, many different other nationalities. So they don't, can't quite place the accent. But, this is the one that always trips me up. Like, yeah, I'm from Jamaica. Oh, Africa. And I'm like, not really. No, it's not actually in Africa, and then you have to go through the whole, teach them a little bit about the history, colonization, slavery, and how come we end up having African people and we look this way. It's like, no, it's not in that. And then I literally bring up on my phone, I'm like, all right, let me show you on the map, because sometimes for some of them, when they're learning geography, just like us, we don't really know like all of the different Arab countries and everything. It's like, yeah, Asia, that Middle East. So they kind of just know like we're from the Americas. And you have to say something like, okay, yeah, we're in the Americas, and it's like just below the United States and in between, the US and South America. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, do you know Cuba? Like, we're right next door neighbors to Cuba. And it's like blank. They're still like, okay, yeah.
But even after that, Nikki, there are times like you'll try to explain and it's like, they don't, because you can't even say Miami, New York, because America's just America to them. Oh, America. And that is it. So even when you try to explain some more, they don't really know. Picture, some of them be like, okay. When you mention like Bob Marley or Usain Bolt or something like that, then you might get a, based on the music. They understand that. But the location,
yeah, they always think, well, most of them think it's in Africa.
Well, my experience used to be, especially when President Obama was in, we'd be walking somewhere, Dubai Souk or something. And my friend is a darker than me, and she would get a Kuma Matata, and they would look at me and say, oh, Obama country.
Okay. Yeah. You're either Kenyan or you're Black American.
It's one of the two.
I see. So, LaToya, what do you love about being there? What do you love about the country?
They're very family orientated, and there's a lifestyle that you can live without pushing it too far. That is really nice, also. But my love for this country is really the location because it makes it easier to travel. And that is what I really am here for.
Oh.
Good point, LaToya. Seriously, the geographical location, it's so amazing because it's like in between Asia and Europe, so it's just easy for you to just get up and just travel to go anywhere pretty much. So I would definitely endorse that. But to add to that, I think surprisingly, what I like a lot about the UAE and Dubai in particular, I like the way the governance works. It's It's not a democratic society. We have a ruler of the country, and then each of the emirates has its own ruler. So you have kind of like a president, like a federation kind of setup, and then each of the rulers, are in charge. They are each in charge of their own emirate, and so what I like about it is the speed at which things happen. Decisions are made, plans are executed. You're not talking and talking about, oh, we need to do this, and then 10 years later they're still talking about it. So what I like is the action, how quickly decisions are made when there is a problem. Like, I'll give you an example. Where I live, we have so much traffic. At one point there was like a bottleneck, and for like 2 years it was a problem. And right now, there is a whole flyover intersection loop that's gonna be finished in the next 2 months. So you don't just sit down and talk about the problems over and over and trying to get everybody aligned and get approval in Senate or wherever. It just happens.
So if
Shake
a,
it,
if a pothole,
make it happen.
if there's a pothole, them now say, well, I bring the mall from this end of the country, that end or whatever the case is. The pothole show up, and tomorrow the pothole
That's
fill.
right. Action, not a bag of mouth.
They can actually shut down the country with a tweet. And I'm not exaggerating. They will shut down. When they won the World Expo, right? They won the bid for the World Expo, and say it happened on a Tuesday, and the Wednesday the tweet said all places are closed for celebrations. It was shut down. There was no argument, no business. It was shut down. It was okay, holiday. And that's
You need to be getting more approval from everybody. Exactly. I love it.
The seven of them speak together really quickly, and it happens.
Yeah.
There's no, participate. This one have to this. We have to. No, that's not it. That's something again, Nikki, and it's for their people. They are for their people. That is one thing. They care about their people. Whether it's pandemic or it's for fun or it's for sick, they care about their people.
Wow, that's good. That's great. My next question is the flip side. What do you not like about the country?
Me too far from Jamaica. It take me 16 hours on one flight, and then I have to make another connection. So it take me 24 hours door to door to reach to my yard in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So on one end, the UAE is central to get into other places, but on the other end, it takes too long to get to Jamaica.
To Jamaica, it does. It does.
They just within the last Nikki, 3 years have a direct flight to like Florida, and that is was direct. So if you're going somewhere else, and a drawback of being here, I wouldn't even say the country itself, is when things happen at home, you have to sit and make a decision. Are you going to be able to fly and go, or is it just better for you to contribute?
Right.
In that sense, that's one thing I would say, because 24 hours to get home.
Yeah. It's a bit of a trek.
So what is one of the common misconceptions about UAE?
One is that we have to be covered, and that there's no fun, and Nikki would say walking 2 steps behind a man in Augusta. We are wearing what we wear outside. Short sleeve. If you want this, you go to the beach, you put on your bathing suit. There are clubs. There's alcohol. A matter of fact, their clubbing makes some of it with clubbing look real bad. Pan for them level of, and if you are a pork eater, them have it. If you're an alcohol drinker, them have it. So that's a lot of things we get, like, look at what you have on. Why you have on that? You're not going to get in trouble? No. Not at all.
Yeah.
Nikki?
I mean, just to, add to what you're saying, we have to be mindful that it is a Muslim country and we have to respect the culture, we have to respect the religion. But I think what the beauty about the UAE is that they have really embraced so many different cultures, and they tried their best to make it a very welcoming space for us. So, for example, we'd say the pork, because Muslims do not eat pork. When you go to certain supermarkets, there is a special section within the supermarket that says pork. It sells pork, and it's a closed area, and you go in and you purchase your pork products. Now, pork is not sold in every type of restaurant. Only restaurants that are attached to a hotel will get the license to serve pork.
Yeah.
And the same thing for alcohol as well. And it's not like, in America or in Jamaica where you can just go down the road and just go buy some alcohol, pan the corner or something. No, there is a specific alcohol shop, and that's where you buy your alcohol, and you have to actually have a license. So you get a license like what you'd apply for, like a driver's license. You get a license, it's valid for a year. You buy your alcohol and you take it home and you can consume. You definitely can't be walking around drinking on the street or anything like that. And again, the bars and the restaurants that have the license to serve alcohol are the ones that are attached to the hotel, because again, it's about how do we make this space very welcoming for tourists. So, I think that it shows a lot of tolerance on their part, because when you compare it to maybe other countries within the region, it's quite different. So
Yeah.
we definitely wanted to clear up that misconception that
We,
it's a
there,
great space.
there are some countries in the region, like, yes, a woman really have to think. There's one country in the region, the women were just allowed to start driving the other day. Ironically, they were just allowed to start using forks, because it was a spoon thing. There are places like that. But as for here, no. And it's attached to the hotels. If you're going clubbing, the club is attached to the hotel, because of course that's where you book a license. One thing we will tell people, and I tell all my friends, them family who come here, don't think say you can drink and drive. Don't go get drunk and jump in a taxi. Like, make sure you can manage yourself and don't get behind the wheel. I don't care if you just had a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Because you will end up in jail
Zero.
faster than anything. There is zero tolerance for
Zero
that.
tolerance on that. But you know what? I don't mind, because the thing is, like, they have so many services. So if you go drinking with your friends, there's a designated driver, or if you didn't plan and everybody wants to go drinking, hello, you can take taxi, which is very affordable. You have safer drivers. So say, for example, you drove your car there, you call safer driver, and the driver comes and he drives you in your car to your house. So, they've made it so easy for you to live in this space and to get on and to be able to conform to the rules and regulation. That, to me, I don't mind it. I quite like being policed and monitored, because at least I tell you, I give you this example. One thing I love about this place, the security. I would say maybe crime is like at less than 2%. We have had friends who they go in a taxi and, maybe them phone, brand new iPhone, drop out of them bag. And can you believe they'll actually get the phone back?
Let me
I
up
have
you,
been in
Nicky.
the mall, forget my shopping bag in the mall, come back in the evening and get my shopping bag. Like, where does that happen?
Shopping bag, me do that to my purse at a restaurant. Don't ask me how I leave the whole purse. Say your purse have
It
everything
was
in it.
Friday. You were
But
drinking too much LaToya. Cut it out.
no. It was regular mall. It was the regular mall. Because
Okay.
a lot of the restaurants, they don't have standalone restaurants. If you want to go to Chili's and you want to go to, even Ting Area, that they're attached to like a mall or something. So it was the regular mall, up and down walking. And maybe 2 hours later, when, I was like, can we finally go home? Because I so dislike shopping. And their malls are huge. Like 4
Massive.
stories, them have ice skating rings, they have all these things. They make it
Largest
ready
mall
for
in the
their
world.
family.
I mean, let's
It's
add that to it.
right. That's their central thing. I got there, my purse is right there. Everything is still in it. Every single money down to the fill. Fill would be like a penny, down to the last cent. My mother was visiting one time. She went to the Burj Khalifa. She dropped her phone, not even in a taxi, on the floor. And my aunt was here with her, so I sent them on a tour. And then I reached back till night time, and she's like, "Me lose my phone." I was like, "Mom, where?" after you drop us off. And I said, all right, mom, it's all right. We can go back. She's like, no, man. And, very emotional. I said, mommy, it's all right.
Relax. This is
Sarah,
Dubai. You'll
we
get it
went
back.
back, went to the security around the area where we entered, where I did drop her off. It's there. Hours later, it's there.
Amazing.
Nobody not thief,
Amazing.
nothing.
Amazing.
And so you gotta
Uh,
love this place because
thank-
you've got cameras everywhere. So people are like, not gonna take that because chances are somebody's seeing me. And you know what? To me, I like that level of security. I like that
Forget
level of
thank,
security.
thank
Red TV
you.
cameras. Them
Yes.
have undercover, like say you would think it's just a local in his regular dress and it's their police. I feel when our people are even talking about what's going on in America and different places now, I feel safer here than I do back home. I will sit here and I tell people when they're like, "Oh, you're not coming home. This is happening." I say, "No, sir.
Very
I
safe.
feel safer here."
Good.
I
Good.
100%
Good.
agree.
Well, thank you for clearing up that misconception. So I'm going to move on to food. And you mention it. It's a country that is filled with expats. So you could let me know. But what's your favorite food? Is there a food that the UAE has that is the kind of their native food, or it's like let's say Jamaica is a melting pot of all the cultures. Out of many, one food, is the thing there. What food do you like? There. And I start with Nikki.
And I was also to tell you, start with LaToya because she live in Abu Dhabi. She
All right.
closer to the. But in all honesty, I mean, so many different cuisines are here. Literally every single cuisine, including Jamaican. We have Jamaican restaurants, and we have two of them. The cuisine is like wow, amazing. The Middle Eastern cuisine, it's obviously very popular. Loads of Arabs from different Arab countries live here. So things like shawarma, which is like a flat bread, and then they roll it with you can have lamb or chicken that is done on a like a spit rotisserie, and they in that kind of flat bread, and they put parsley and other vegetables, and they roll it up. So it's a nice quick grab and go kind of thing to eat, kind of like how we would just grab and go and eat a patty. And that is something that I really love to eat on the run. And then there's another dish, a dessert that I love. I think it's actually Egyptian though, but everywhere you go here you get it, is Ali, which is this really decadent kind of like a bread pudding, but it has cardamom and cinnamon and like all of these really earthy flavors, and it's so delicious and it's so fattening, but it's also good.
LaToya?
Me and food. It depends on the day or the week because, like she said, you can get anything from Ethiopian food all the way to Jamaican food, and the shawarmas are good. Anything with hummus. They eat it's very healthy and it's halal, so it's fresh. I remember my mom came one time and she decided to cook Christmas Eve dinner for my friends, and she bought a roast. And in the US, you can sit here and sear the roast before you put it in, By the time she put it in the pot and turn around, I hear mommy screaming, ah! I'm like, what happened? It already started to cook through. So there is a variety that you can get. I don't have a favorite. It's just whatever I'm hungry. And then when you miss home, you still have the American restaurants in the malls.
So let me ask you this then, because there is Jamaican restaurants, it seems, there. Is the Jamaican food up to par? Is it Jamaicans that are doing it? Is it, Nikki had mentioned, Dubai is there,
Yeah. So in Dubai, we have two Jamaican restaurants. There's one, Miss Lily's, which is I think the primary one is in New York.
Yes, it's in New
Yeah, so
York.
they have a Miss Lily's here, and they also have one called Ting Irie. And surprisingly, it was actually started by an Arab Canadian guy But what he did, he contracted a executive chef, a Jamaican executive chef, to basically design the menu, the restaurant, everything. And then what I respect about him, he actually flew to Jamaica and recruited a whole bunch of people from Jamaica, like all the waiters, the cooks, the everybody. So we had like a nice mix, it was really good, authentic, and they brought in a lot of the season, everything from Jamaica. What I liked very much about Ting Irie, especially when they had just launched, was it's Jamaican food, but it's elevated. It's really, the food styling is beautiful, and the way it's kind of eclectic, the menu. So for example, they do some surprising things on the menu that you wouldn't really like do in Jamaica. So they have this starter that I absolutely love. It's a mini cocoa bread. And what they do, they pull the oxtail off of the bone, and then you put it in that mini cocoa bread, and you put coleslaw on it. Oh my God, it is so good. So it's very surprising because like in Jamaica, you only eat cocoa bread with patty, and you only eat oxtail with rice. You know what I mean? But to have it done in this way, and so they have quite a few surprises on the menu. Still authentic, but very elevated in terms of the plating and the service, and you do pay top dollar. Let me tell you, one oxtail. I'm gonna tell you about the oxtail. Is like about how much for the oxtail, LaToya? I think it's like about 30 something or $40 US for the oxtail.
It's 40 and more. And
Yes.
like when they opened, I will be honest. When Ting Irie opened, I was sitting right there by myself, and I ordered. I was like, "Oh, what lobster? This what jerk chicken, rice and peas." Like I ordered a good amount because my belly rules me. And when the bill came, I was like, "I want this father."
You only go for special occasion, my love. You can't just go there like we just go eat. Like how in like maybe in the States you go buy a box food. No, honey. This is like fine dining, girl. Mm-mm.
But you know what, Nikki? They had chibones, which was even more expensive than Lily's, and that because they had a
Yeah.
24-karat gold curry goat. Yes. Now
All
they
right.
did infusion. Like I went there one night because of the executive chef and Colin. He was the executive chef there, and we went with Gary Matalon was here, and we were checking out some places. And when I went there, I was like, 24-karat curry goat. Like, and there weren't a lot of Jamaicans in there, of course. There were a lot of Arabs and stuff getting a feel for it. And they were, they were loving the food, but that was really eclectic. As for Ting Irie, when they first opened, they didn't even have Ting. So I was like, why is your name Ting Irie and they don't have Ting? I came here for the Ting.
I know.
And they were like, oh.
And them have the red stripe. Them have it now, and them have the red stripe and everything. It took a while.
Now.
Yeah.
They now host a brunch. So you
It's
can go
amazing.
there and pay a certain amount and sample all of that food and dance. And, when Beanie Man came here, he was there dancing and we were eating and laughing and joking. So
Man.
as for the food, you don't miss out. And then one of our friends, they're actually now importing the Jamaica products. They started like 2 weeks putting it up on the site. So that means my suitcase will not have to be as heavy anymore.
You know it. One empty suitcase go in and a full suitcase of food will come back. You know it, LaToya.
Higgler in
No, in Miami, right? I'm getting in the thing and the man he opened my hand luggage and he saw Shirley biscuit. He said, a rum cake is in here too, huh? I said, right underneath it.
Hey, LaToya, you ever bring in the them have the vacuum seal pig tail. Like I bring that in. Oh yeah. Pig tail, everything.
Mommy bring it in for the stew peas when she come in, man. Mommy bring it in.
Oh boy, the things we do for our food. So another serious question. What's the biggest adjustment you had to make going to the UAE? And I'll start with Nicky on that one.
What would I say? I really came with a very open mind. I tried not to do too much research in terms of like come here with a bias. I was very, very open minded about pretty much everything, the language. But I think just getting used to the different accents, because the luckily for us, even though Arabic is the main language, the official language that we do business in, it's English. So we've not been forced to have to learn Arabic, okay? Because that I know would have been like really, really difficult for me, because it's really hard to read. I mean, it's just like it looks squiggly, squiggly, and I'm like, even now I've been here 14 years and I still can't. If them write my name in Arabic, I wouldn't even know. You know what I'm saying? But I think because, like I said, there are so many different nationalities and everybody's trying to speak English. English is not their first language. Sometimes it could be their second, it could be their third language. And so sometimes when you're calling on the phone or you're dealing with somebody and they're talking, it's like, what? I didn't quite understand that. And sometimes they use some words that you don't quite get. So I found that part of it, just kind of adjusting, was a little bit frustrating, because you think you've communicated and they're like shaking their head like, and like they don't understand. They go off and they do something completely different. So yeah.
LaToya?
Well, Nikki didn't do a lot of research. I didn't do a lot of research, but the company that was bringing me in, they sent videos and they're like, okay, you don't show the bottom of your feet. If you're sitting, you can't show the bottom of your feet. Don't shake with the right hand. Don't all these things they were telling us. And I am a very, hey, how you doing person. So my first encounter in the hotel, because I was in the hotel for a couple weeks, one of the locals came and he's like, hello. And I'm like, assalamu alaikum. And he's like, and my hand went out to shake his hand. I'm like smiling and grinning. And then it hit me like, wait a minute. You're not supposed to be doing this. And this is a man, and I think he saw my face and he's like, it's okay. Because that's just me. And the second one would be working on Sundays, because the work week is Sunday through Thursday. And it took quite a while. 9 years later, I'm still sometimes forget, like, Sunday is a work day.
Well, guess what, LaToya, when I moved here, that was the weekend when they changed over what the weekend was. You see how crazy this is? Like everywhere in the world, the weekend is Saturday and Sunday. When I came here, the weekend was Thursday and Friday. Okay, and then Saturday used to be Thursday and Friday was the weekend. And then because they're becoming more globalized, and they're doing a lot more commerce, and they decided they were losing too many business days, and they switched over to having the weekend start on the weekend is Friday and Saturday. So Friday is a day of worship, and then Saturday is like a Saturday anywhere in the world. So that was like crazy. Like, what? Like, how do you just change the weekend? Like, what is that? Yeah, that happened.
They changed the holidays, Xavier. They changed the holidays. Like I said, a lot of their holidays are based on sighting of the moon. But if it's going to fall on a Wednesday, they might say, all right, well, you know what? Let's call it Wednesday, Thursday. Let's just extend it. Was it last year when Prince Hamden got married and his father said, all right, we're just going to make the whole week a holiday? Not in my mind. That was
not at all.
Listen, they're becoming more like they're taking a look slow with the holiday them now. But before, I'll be like on the Twitter. Okay,
yeah, that's a good one to mention, LaToya, in terms of like you can't really plan, like how you would get a calendar anywhere in the world and it's like Christmas Day is gonna be on that day or whatever, the holidays. Like here it's like it could be
within
that range, so you can't really book your flight because you're not sure when the moon is going to be sighted for them to be able to declare that this is the actual holiday. Like, well, different.
That is very interesting that it's arranged. It's almost like it's laid back. You kind of just wait it out. But my next question is this one. You mentioned there is quite a few expats there, and we talked about it a little bit earlier with the food. Was there any interesting person, you may be still friends with them, or culture that you have encountered there that to you, just you personally, that was very interesting? And I'll start with LaToya and that one, interesting because, as you said, there are a lot of expats there. Anything that you could think off the top of your head that was interesting? You met someone from this particular country or this particular place, and that was interesting and unique.
I won't even say. Well, me and the Filipinos get along just perfect. They're very laid back. Their food, how they talk, they love reggae. They're very. I think I like them because they're always singing. Like a lot of them sing, and it's just a happy feeling when you're around them. And they're very hard workers, but they just give a little vibe that, you know. I've met, like Nicky said, it's just a melting pot. So even
I'm
as a
sure you
teacher,
met
we have
a lot.
people going in and out all the
Right.
time.
Right.
So the
It's funny
African,
you say that because, and I'm not sure which interview I said this before, who I was talking to. Could be an interview like this in the series where the Philippines came up, or somebody I talked that they're like, the Filipinos, man, their food is close to us and so on, So it's funny you mentioned that.
I just love them. Partially, I think a lot of them work around the schools and stuff, but it's like they just have a little vibe to them. And
Yeah.
whether it's us dancing dance hall, like my classroom assistant sent me a picture because COVID, we kind of shut the schools down and we were working from home. We're back in them now, but back then, and it was her birthday, total reggae theme. They had the Bob Marley, had the thing there, and they were all sending me pictures. Look, Miss LaToya, look, Miss LaToya, and I was like, oh gosh, I think I convert them, but it's just
Nice. Nice. So many people, but the one story I'd love to share is going to an Emirati wedding. That was an incredible experience because it's so different. When you go to the wedding, you have a female wedding ceremony or party that's different from the male. So obviously I was invited to the female celebration. And so for that wedding that we went to, the husband had his celebration the week before, with his, all the men and all of that, his friends. And then on this occasion now it was just the ladies. And so everybody's dressed to the nine, beautiful. And so the ladies all arrive in abayas, which is kind of like, what they were, the black sort of veil over, with a wrap, what they call a shalo. And so when you arrive at the wedding, and usually it's a very big banquet room at a hotel, and they invite everybody them know. So you're talking
yes,
like 500 people just for the female side of the wedding, okay? And so it was a colleague that I'd met through work. And so we get there, and it was such an amazing experience because it's all women. The waitresses, there are no waiters. It has to be all female. And then when you arrive, and then they have oud, which is it's a Middle Eastern kind of perfume, and you get the oud. So they put that on you first, and it's the whole ceremony of it is very special. And so everybody's there, sat, and everybody and everything. And then the band was playing, and I'm like, I can't see the band. Where's the band? But the band, because they had males in the band, they were kept behind the screen, and then they projected the band onto like a video screen, so you could see them, but the men couldn't see us inside of the ceremony. And then what happened was, at the arrival of the bride, so we're all there milling around and having our food and everything. When the bride is about to arrive, we all made like two lines of women. You line up, and then as she's arriving, then they're like, "Lo, lo, 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 lo," and they're making all of these really interesting sounds. It was just an amazing experience. And then they built this incredible platform. It's kind of like a stage with a riser and flowers everywhere. And then everybody comes up and greets the bride. And you take pictures with the bride. Like literally every single person comes up and you greet the bride, and you take loads of pictures. And then later on into the party now, they make the announcement that the husband is coming. And then everybody know you have to get your abaya and your wrap up, and get, and then he arrives with the father and, well, his brothers and the father, and then there's some like an exchange of a sword. There's like a symbolic, some symbolism where they're handing over the sword. I mean, it's a so different, but it's incredible. It was such a beautiful experience
So let me
have
ask you this question. I want to ask you this question. I don't know if you have any kids. I have daughters. I can't let them hear this. I can't let them. 500 people.
Anybody
that,
is welcome. My first week here, I was in the hotel, and what used to happen, everybody's going out to tour and catch up vibe for the place. I was actually people watching, and I was sitting in the hotel, and I kept seeing these ladies coming. They had the Shayla. Some of them are fully covered, and they had their bag and they're walking, but you can't see the shoes. Because the shoes and the makeup, I said one all the time, and the handbag them. And I just kept looking like, where are they going? Where are they going? And one of them saw me looking, and she's like, "That, come." And I'm like, and then the person in the hotel, she's like, "Oh, she's inviting you." And I'm like, "Where?" Because I'm a jeans, I'm a t-shirt, just chilling. And she invited me to the wedding. And they were having it in the hotel thing. And when I walked in there, that's when I realized, Nikki, that there were no men. I was like, okay. And once they get in, they take off the abayas and the shaylas, and you're like, because all the outfits that you see in the mall that you wonder why they sell it, they're on.
Oh yeah,
They're on, and you're like, woo.
oh,
Yes. My social worker, she calls her family the Kardashians, the Arabic Kardashians. And when I have been to almost all of the sister them wedding. When I say bashment sitting on a really something, that's where you're going. And again, you invite, like, say if your wife is here and she's just visiting me, bring her. I could come with 10 people and we will not be turned away.
Yeah, it is amazing.
That's interesting that anybody can show up at a wedding. In our culture, it not go so at all.
Not at
There's no
all.
150 and RSVP.
No,
Because
darling.
the first official one, I was invited. I was like, "Oh, okay, do you?" And she's like, "What?" And then somebody translated what I was saying because she didn't understand. She said, "No. Come. All come." And I was like, "All come." And then when I got to the wedding, and I was like, and the food is there. It's not running out. You would think, oh my goodness.
It's a feast. It is
The
a
food.
feast. It is crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. Abundance and overabundance, and more is more. It's not less is more. More is more. That's how they do it here. But
So-
they go all out.
So what is the one thing? Okay, and I don't know how big in terms of square miles and so on UAE is, but from your perspective, what is the one thing that you would suggest someone visiting there go and see or go and do? One thing you would say you go and see or go and do if you come there. And let me say this, it could be anything. I remember in one somebody saying the sunset. It's just different. It could anything. It could be just anything.
I'm gonna say the thing that struck me most when I came to visit before I moved here was when I went on a desert safari. And going into the desert, and all you can see as far as your eye can see, a source of sand. It was incredible and it was beautiful because the wind creates these patterns, these waves on the sand dunes, that it's absolutely stunning. And to catch the sunset there, it is absolutely magnificent. And it's just something that is so unique to, I guess, this side of the world. And I would say maybe to the UAE, it is so special to be in the desert because it's so calm. And the people of the UAE, they really are connected to the desert. They're Bedouins, that's their heritage, and they live there and they like to camp, and they're so welcoming. because even like no matter what, you're gonna get stuck in the sand. You're going to go drive and you're going to get stuck in the sand. And some way, somehow, somebody is always there. Some local guy gonna drive up and he's like, "Don't worry," and him help you out and everything. But it is a sight to see. So I mean, even though Dubai specifically is a city of superlatives, we have the tallest, the biggest, the richest, the everything, and those things are amazing to see, like the tallest building in the world, and Burj Khalifa and Burj Al Arab, the only 7-star hotel in the world. Those things are very nice, but what
The
is so
desert.
natural, the beauty of the desert is stunning.
Great, great. I'm gonna
And
put that on my list.
if you
LaToya.
go if you go on a desert safari, like Nikki said, you actually hit a bunch of different things. Because if you like sand duning or you've never been there, you have that aspect because they're going to bring you sand duning. They will bring you for photo ops. You can sit there, and then they will bring you to a camp, and you have, the little belly dancing. Then
Stop for a
feed you.
second. Stop for a second there. Sand duning, is that where you are on like kind of like surfing or
You're in no. That's different. This is when you're literally in one of their little SUV cars and they
Okay,
are driving
okay.
and see the sand dune here, and then they carry the sideways and they bring it down and they bring it up and and
Dune
you just
dashing. Dune dashing.
do that. You have fun, man. It's like
It's
a
like a
roller
roller
coaster.
coaster. Exactly, Latoya. Like being in a roller coaster, but you're in a SUV. It's amazing.
And depending on who your driver is, because some of them wicked, man. When I say, like, the car would almost turn sideways and then the sand is blowing on the thing and you're like, ah, but you're excited at the same time, and then you kind of want to kiss the sand when it finished because you're like, you made it and you didn't flip over. But that hits there. I always tell people, if you go to Dubai, like Nikki said, here is known for, they love being the biggest, the tallest building in the world, the 7-star hotel. So if you can look at those things, those are nice, But I would always tell people, visit old Dubai.
Yeah.
Visit those places when you get to see what it used to be like and the culture. If you're coming to Abu Dhabi, the Grand Mosque is absolutely, no matter how many times you go there, is breathtaking. I mean, it's touristy and they have other places, but if you can go to the older versions, like Ras Al Khaimah and those places, that's another Emirate. If you can get to those things, you can see how far they've come, and then you can see it's just like a beauty of walking around and like, wow.
Yeah, you really
Versus,
get the essence. You get the
yeah,
essence of what the country is, and not just the glitz and the glamour of, what everybody see, the shiny, shiny. As a cosmopolitan city is a cosmopolitan city anywhere in the world. But I totally agree with Latoya. When you go into the old areas and what we call the souks, which is basically a market, and just
Mhm.
see the hustle and bustle, it's really, you really feel the soul. You feel the soul of the country when you visit those spaces. So yeah.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you for the wealth of information you have given us about UAE, and man, I'm excited and just ready to come out there at some point. So, but I want to ask you this final question in closing. What advice would you give to anyone? One piece that I just said. Let's say there probably is many. The one piece of advice that you would give to any Jamaican or anyone who is thinking of moving to the UAE.
okay, I'm gonna jump in front of Nikki on this one. Because I tell everybody this, even if you're visiting me or you're coming, tourist, you have to remember that this is their country. Come with a flexibility and an open mind. This is their country. So what you used to do at home, you can't do it here. They have certain things that is standard for them. Something simple like PDA. There's no public display of affection here. So you going on a hug up on your boyfriend and you want troops and this, don't do it. Because there's people who come and like, well, when I'm at home, you're not at home.
Exactly.
Drop it. If you open your mind and you're flexible and you actually embrace their culture, you will have a wonderful time.
Yes.
You will
Respect.
last if you're moving here. You would live here long. It will not annoy you. Like I said, my only thing that I have now is the food, and like Nikki said, we bring a whole suitcase. Somebody's now starting to import because I am flexible. I am not going to sit here and do things or make fun of their culture.
Exactly.
They're very strict in certain things, but they let you know it. You know, like something simple, Nikki would know. You can't go up and take pictures of the local them. That's not right. There's certain
Yeah,
things you can't do, so just don't do it.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly. I would
Nikki?
totally endorse what LaToya says because it's about showing respect. And in the same way, when foreigners come to Jamaica, we like for them to respect our culture. I think if we do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Find out what are the laws, educate yourself so that you don't do anything to offend anybody or to get yourself in trouble. But for anybody that's considering moving here for work, what advice I would give them is to do the research on the company that you're coming to work for, because if you end up with the wrong employer, it can be a disaster because it's a very expensive city to live in. And so you want to make sure that whatever package that you're going to get that is written on paper, that when you land here, that is exactly what you're going to get, because this is not a place where you can come and try and do like a side hustle and you can do like a thing without the papers. It doesn't work like that. So make sure if you're really going to come out here and look for employment, do the research on the company you're coming to work for, that it's a reputable company, so that because when you are here, your company is the one that sponsors you, so everything
Mm,
that you are able to do, it's attached to your employer.
I
You
see.
can't just show up here and like, yeah, but just go stay on and just do like a thing under the table. No, don't do that,
No.
because you will get locked up and ain't nobody
They,
coming to take you out.
and
So,
just as a warning, like Nikki said, when you get locked up, okay, the U.S. embassy is not going to come, and this is the U.S. embassy. I'm coming from my blue book position, not the other book. They're not going to come to get you out. They're going to come to make sure you're okay and you're being fed. Okay, you have to handle that with a lawyer, and you could be there for a long, long while for doing certain things.
Yeah.
But again, if you do your research and like I know my sponsorship and I know what my company represents, I know certain things I can say, can't do. That's why when you ask the question, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm too cute to go to jail. So we have to be very careful.
Right,
You don't
right,
talk
right.
bad about this country, negative. If it's in the back of your head, it stays there. So that's why I always say when you come, you respect it, because certain things
yeah.
you see, you're gonna be like, but then again, it's their culture.
All
You
right.
know, if a man have him 2 wife or him 3 wife or him 4 wife, it's their culture. You can't sit up here and be like, well, me would not take that.
No,
Not
it's
your
their
business.
culture.
It's not your
It's their
business.
culture.
So,
Exactly. Stay in
so,
your lane. Stay in your lane.
so you mentioned not that Arabic is a little difficult to learn and English is the first language. So I going to close this out by saying, please say goodbye. Please say goodbye in if you know the Arabic, and we'll close out by you saying it in Arabic. I will say,
Masalama.
Masalama.
well, ladies,
Masalama.
thanks
See
again. A
you.
wealth of information. And we appreciate you, and stay well and stay blessed. Thanks again, ladies. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Show some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.